Morning, everyone. I want to welcome everybody to the monthly quarterly meeting of the Technical Coordinating Committee Executive Board of the Clarksville Area Urbanized Area Metropolitan Planning Organization. The chair detects quorum, so we'll call this meeting to order. Before we get into the review, discussion, adoption of the minutes, I want to go around the horseshoe here and introduce folks because we got some new faces, and Herman's going to sing his school fight song. Just want to give you a heads up, Herman. All right. So, Daniel, we'll start with you and work our way around.
Daniel Morris with the Regional Planning Commission.
I'm Jared Jeffers with KYTC Central Office Planning.
Herman Wright with OCT Division of TDOT.
Joe Pitts, Mayor of the City of Clarksville.
Wes Golden, I get to serve as Mayor of Montgomery County.
Mike Ringerberg, Clarksville Transit.
Tom Britton, CDS, representing the City of Hopkinsville.
Brian A. Hart with the City of Oak Grove.
Daniel Caparella, Greater National Regional Council.
All right, thank you very much. First item on our agenda is review, discussion, adoption of the minutes from the August 10th, 2023 meeting. Those were sent out ahead of time. When you're ready, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion for approval.
Thank you, Mayor.
Second.
Thank you, Mike. Any questions, additions, or deletions to the minutes? Seeing none, hearing none, are you ready to vote? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. Anybody wish to abstain? The minutes are adopted. Second item is review, discussion, and adoption of Resolution 2023-09 to add Transportation Improvement Program Project Number 73 to the fiscal year 2023 through fiscal year 2026 TIP for new sidewalks along Greenwood Avenue and Edmondson Ferry Road. Mr. Williams, will you give us a brief description of that, please, sir?
Yes, sir, I can. To begin with, this project will be administered by Clarksville Street Department. They contacted us before the meeting, shortly before the meeting, and had to be in another place at this time. But we will go through Resolution 2309. Second paragraph, I'll touch on some of it. Again, it's for an amendment to add in the Greenwood Avenue, Edmondson Ferry sidewalks. Construction phase is being funded through the TAP, Transportation Alternative Program funding, at an 80-20 split between Federal Highway Administration and City of Clarksville. Clarksville is responsible 100% of the PE and right-of-way phase funding. The total cost, thank you, $1 million. Better. Okay. And then there's your federal and local split. Members of the IAC did agree that their project is exempt from the air quality conformity requirement. The amendment has been distributed to the participating state and federal agencies, members of the TCC, and you all, the executive board. Our locally developed public participation plan was followed. 14-day public comment period began on the 1st and ended yesterday. We received no comments on the proposed project. Flip your page over, you should have the actual new page of the TIP. Touch on some of it again. About a little over half a mile, 5.57 tenths of a mile in length. It gives you the termini again there, Greenwood Avenue and Edmondson Ferry Road. And again, it will install a 5-foot sidewalk. And then you have toward the bottom, you have your different phases, PE, NEPA, design, right-of-way, and construction, with the associated funds for each of the phases. This also amended another page in the TIP showing the TAP, very bottom of that those columns, and that included the additional dollars. And then your last page was the existing page in the TIP. Be glad to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. You've heard the description. I'll entertain a motion in a second.
Motion for approval.
Thank you, Mayor Golden. We almost died for lack of a motion. Thank you, Mike. Okay, we have it before us. Any comment or question regarding this resolution? This will put needed sidewalks in one of our legacy neighborhoods, connecting a public housing neighborhood with a local elementary school, and continue that sidewalk project. So, no other questions, comments regarding this resolution? Are you ready to vote? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. Anybody wish to abstain? The resolution is adopted. Thank you. Item 3, well, before we get to item 3, let me welcome everybody who's watching virtually, live streaming. I want to say thank you to Daniel and then Jeff for making that possible here in the Regional Planning Commission. Now we're ready for item 3, review, discussion, adoption of Resolution 2023-10 of the Urban Area Boundary Adjustment in response to the 2020 U.S. Census designation of the Clarksville MPO. Mr. Williams.
Mr. Chairman, I will touch a couple of things in the resolution, second paragraph. Again, it's stayed in locals' responsibilities to cooperatively work together and adjust these urbanized boundaries. Per the Federal Highway Administration guidance, we have done that to encompass the areas which have urban characteristics at the time of the designation. We have worked with TDOT, Kentucky Transportation Cabinet, and Federal Highway Administrations on our efforts. The TCC agreed with the adjustment. The Executive Board approves the urban area boundary adjustment. You have seen this a couple of times. It should be attached as your map with the legend there again. The yellow shapes, polygons, areas are what we worked together and agreed that they should be included in the urbanized boundary. Again, it mainly deals back to what you would think of density of housing, businesses, so on and so forth, versus a rural, undeveloped area. So this is our work to date, and be glad to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. I'll entertain a motion to get this before us.
Motion for approval.
Thank you, Mayor Golden.
Second.
Thank you, Mike. All right, this generated quite a bit of discussion before, so any comment or question regarding this resolution from the board? Seeing none, hearing none, are you ready to vote? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Anybody wish to abstain? The resolution is adopted. Thank you. Item 4, review, discussion, endorsement of Resolution 2023-11 for the draft 2050 Metropolitan Transportation Plan, MTP, and the Conformity Determination Report, CDR, which has completed the federal and state's review and will begin the public comment period. Mr. Williams?
Good job, Mr. Chairman. You've said it very well. I'll jump to.
I don't know what I said. Go ahead.
To the middle. Again, we're kicking off opportunity for public review and comment, beginning officially November the 21st. TCC agree, and the executive board members agree to make this document available. Some brief history again. The public comment period will begin on the 21st. We'll run full 30 days because this is by far the biggest document the MPO produces. Instead of a 14-day public comment period, it requires a 30-day. We've actually got an in-house, in-person meeting, if you will, tonight up at Oak Grove City Hall from 4 to 6, and then tomorrow night, Friday night at the Clarksville Montgomery County Library on Paget Lane. Just to remind you, we began this very long process back in September of 22, and we look to have this adopted January of 24. This is our second round of public comment opportunity. The first one was back in February of this year, and we did surveys and had 800 plus surveys we received. So tonight again, the next 2 nights, we're going to go with in-person public meetings and hope people come out. Documents again are huge, very voluminous as you all know. So they're on our website, and again, the conformity report, air quality conformity report is required and is included. Be glad to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. I'll entertain a motion in a second, please.
Motion for approval.
Thank you, Mayor.
Second.
Thank you, Mike. All right, you've heard the description, the summary from Stan. Any comment or question regarding this resolution? Seeing none, hearing none, are you ready to vote? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Anybody wish to abstain? Resolution is adopted. Thank you. Item 5, review, discussion, adoption of Resolution 2023-12 to support the performance measure PM1 safety 2024 targets set by the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet and the Tennessee Department of Transportation. I guess back to you, Mr. Williams.
Mr. Chairman, Again, on the resolution actually had a typo at the very top. We're supporting the 24 safety performance measures. Now, the last paragraph had it, but as correct as 24, but staff has made that correction. Very briefly, again, what's this all about? We've been doing it for numerous years. It's a national goal to significantly reduce traffic fatalities, serious injuries on all public roads. Specifically, these safety measures, are from the Highway Safety Improvement Program and requires the state DOTs and the MPOs to either set your targets, or for the MPOs, we can choose to adopt the states, and that's what we've done in the past and what we're proposing to do today. Again, follow the local participation plan. We've not received comments as of today. If you turn the page over, attachment A begins with the Kentucky State Cabinet baselines. Number of fatalities, 757 plus. Serious injuries, the fatality rate, serious injury rate, and then, of course, the bottom one is the non-motorized pedestrian injuries. Kentucky targets for 24, about the same. They're holding the same. They're looking and hoping for number of serious injury reductions, but the others are holding pretty close to last year's. Unfortunately, on the right two columns, that is the Tennessee TDOT's baseline. You've got the numbers, and then unfortunately the numbers continue to go up on the number of fatalities. We all wish they would go down, but it's just not happening. Number of serious injuries is up, what, 200 and something. So of course you drives your rate up, and then serious injuries again is a tick up. We see this a lot here in Middle Tennessee, particularly with Nashville. The pedestrian numbers, injuries, and fatalities are way up. It's a serious problem. And Metro Nashville's trying to do different things, but that number just constantly goes up. So there's the numbers. We all wish they were lower. Getting there is not an easy task. And again, we're just continuing to do the same, just going to endorse the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet and TDOT's numbers for the upcoming 24 year. Wish I had better news, but we don't.
Wish you did too. Okay, you've heard the explanation of Resolution 12. I'll entertain a motion in a second, please.
Motion for approval.
Second.
All right, thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mike. Any discussion about these targets in Resolution 12? Hearing none, seeing none, are you ready to vote? All in favor of Resolution 12, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Anybody wish to abstain? Resolution 12 is adopted. We're ready for item 6, review, discussion, adoption of Resolution 2023-13 to add the Montgomery County Highway Department Superintendent to the Executive Board by amending the MPO bylaws. This action was discussed at the August meeting and requires a vote at this meeting in accordance with the bylaws. Mr. Williams, you want to explain that briefly for us?
Yes, very briefly, Mr. Chairman. Highway Superintendent's not here. Might need to change your vote.
Yeah.
Just teasing on
I'd have
that.
to count the votes.
Again, what your actions are doing today is amending the bylaws to include the superintendent. This has been around in the state for a couple of years, and then it was brought up again recently, and that's why we're here today. Local participation plan was followed. No comments were received. TCC does recommend approval of the bylaws, and you have them on the following pages. Again, if you go through this action today, it will be at the bottom listed there on the first page, the composition. And you've got your duties, organization, and duties of the chairman, the meetings. Again, we meet on a simple majority, more than 50% to constitute a quorum of a meeting. And that's your simple bylaws. You can amend them at any time.
Okay, you've heard the explanation. I'll entertain a motion and a second for adoption of Resolution 13.
Motion for approval.
Thank you, Mayor.
Second.
Thank you, Mike. Any comment or question regarding adoption of Resolution 13 to amend the MPO's bylaws to add the Montgomery County Highway Department Superintendent? Seeing none, hearing none, are you ready to vote? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Anybody wish to abstain? The resolution is adopted. Thank you. We're now ready for item 7, update on Clarksville Transit System's Coordinated Public Transit Human Services Transportation Plan and the Comprehensive Operational Analysis Studies. Mr. Williams, is it you, or do I defer to Mr. Ringenberg?
I will begin, and it's not easy to say all that.
No, it
is
is not.
No, it's not. We'll probably start with COA, and then on the Human Coordinated Services, Daniel with the GNRC can speak briefly on that. Again, this study, like all of ours are, federal requirement, and a good study that needs to be undertaken. We started in April, and we're hoping to wrap this up in January of next year. And with that said, I will defer over to Mike and let him, because they've been doing all the work, and tell you where we are today.
Okay,
We're
Mike,
basically
you're
meeting with
recognized.
the contractors, Kimley Horn, and we're going through route by route. They're providing suggestions to us, and we're trying to figure out yes or no, whether it's a good suggestion for us, is something we can implement now, or is it something in the future. We met with them on 5th of October, 2nd of November, and I think we have a meeting tomorrow with them to try to keep going with the process to make sure what suggestions they're bringing to us are going to be workable for us in our current situation, and then a year from now, 2 years from now, that kind of a thing.
Okay, you've heard any questions about this?
Just briefly.
You want to get to the microphone, so
Sorry.
it's okay.
Used to not having-
I know.
Some of the recommendations.
Old dogs, you know.
Again, I guess the effort is to make sure the route leaves on, or the bus leaves on time, covers the route, and comes back on time, completes the route on time. So they're proposing very minor changes to help with that. Back on public comment and engagement and stuff. I think they've done an excellent job on that. They've had, quote, the pop-up sections down there, information at the transit center, interviewed stakeholders, which some of us participated in that, and then really with the operators, and they had great praises on Mike's. I attended that one, and they praised those bus drivers very, very well, very well.
We need bus drivers, by the way.
Yeah.
You brought it up.
I know,
We're
I know
hiring.
we're short. E-blast, social media posts, so on and so forth. So the opportunity has been there definitely for the public to give input, for sure. That's all I've got.
Any other comment or question regarding this item? Okay, no action necessary, just an update. We're now ready for item 8, update on the Safe Streets and Roads for All Action Plan. Mr. Williams?
Okay, very briefly, again, we've had two meetings via the consultants with the steering committee, and again, some of us are on that committee. Public surveys, again, have been out, and the responses have been good so far. I started to say tomorrow, but Saturday, they've actually got a booth set up, kicking off with the Christmas on the Cumberland, right there. The mayor's always ready. And so they're going to be set up down there. The weather's going to be nice, and hopefully we'll get some participation there again. Looking to have this completed next May of '24, so we can take the recommendations and turn right around and apply for the implementation grant in June the following year. Again, the action plan is just a planning document, whereas the implementation grant you'll be going after construction dollars. But unfortunately, you always have to do the plan first.
Yeah, and it points to the targets that we just addressed in the other resolution regarding pedestrian and motorist safety.
Absolutely. Excellent point. Excellent point.
All right, any comment or question regarding this item.
Chair and Stan, do you want me to give an update on coordinated human services?
Please do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the Coordinated Human Services Transportation Plan, traditionally, we have partnered with Clarksville MPO to do this plan. The last time it was updated was in 2016, so we're starting another update as it's been a few years. So typically, we include our 14 counties as well as Clarksville MPO, so that'll include all of Christian County as well. Essentially, the goals of this plan is to inventory the existing transportation services for disabled folks, low income, elderly, and veterans, and to inventory not only the fixed route transit services, but especially the on-demand transit services that these folks typically depend on to get where they need to go. And so we are looking at kicking off in January with our kickoff meeting. We'll have a steering committee as well as a few public meetings. We're looking at a 6-month process, so finishing in about June or July. You all will be involved in this process, and we'll be reaching out next month with a kickoff meeting invitation and more information, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Good, good. Thank you. Any questions about that? All right. Thank you very much. Now it's time for item 9, update by Mark Corrigan with the Tennessee Department of Environment and Conservation on air quality.
First time Mr. Corrigan's not able to join us, I will go through. You should have his information in your packet there. He's kicks it off with the Volkswagen VW funding opportunity again for the level 2 charging electric vehicles. Again, this has been around several years. When VW got caught in their emission testing, I'm trying to be delicate how I say this, but anyway, that's where all this the majority of this money is coming from. And again, I think this is the 3rd or 4th year. School buses, now we're into the light duty vehicles and trucks and so on and so forth. So good program, trying to reduce emissions from the tailpipe from vehicles. Climate pollution reduction grants, also through Tennessee. Not as familiar with those. We've never received one, or anybody in our area. Second page. Diesel emission reduction again. DEER's been around forever. That's how we did the school buses probably over the last 10, 12, 15 years. I know a lot of you are familiar with that one. And let's see. He's just full of funding information. EPA considered a revision to the PM 2.5 national standard. No other details are available at this time. And then you're getting into the last page, color charts with all the colors on there. Again, you're familiar with this. This one is the ozone data from 21 to 23. The left column shows your counties. We're actually down at the bottom, and it's tricky because the monitor's in Christian County. Remember that, so it won't show up as Clarksville, Montgomery County. But ours is located out at Pilot Rock in the eastern part of Christian County. Good news for those 3 years, we didn't have exceedances or violations on the standard. And that last column to the right on us, it would have took a real high number of a 93 to actually throw us into exceedance or violation of the standard. The thing of it is, if you go to the next page, do you have 2 pages? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes.
Again, there we are, just the other side of Memphis. As you can imagine, Memphis, a larger urban area, they had a lot of exceedances, but there's our columns. We had 3 though, so we were cutting it close. The 4th one is when they get you. You can have 3, and with your 4th one, they've got you back in non-attainment.
So does it start over after each reporting period?
Yes,
Or-
sir. Good,
okay.
excellent question. The good news, ozone season has officially ended.
Okay.
In October, but we were getting close on the ozone standard. Again, it would have took a high number compared to our 70s that we had. Again, 70s is the standard. It would have took a 93. but we were getting close. Glad we missed it. How about you, Mayor Pitts?
I'm glad we missed it too. We've been in that category before. We don't need to go back.
Absolutely, well said. PM 2.5, you didn't have in your packet. Again, good news, we didn't exceed the standard. Once again, we had 2 violations, so we were getting high on it. We didn't talk much about that through this season. Mark didn't, or I didn't either, but we were also getting close on the PM 2.5. About the end, again, this was, if you remember, this was mainly due to the Canadian wildfires.
Oh,
That's what this was.
Okay.
These
Thank you,
dates in
Canada.
June and July, if you remember the smoke and the fires. But if it goes in the monitor and they can show it, they still count it. So, good news, we didn't exceed either violation, ozone or the PM 2.5.
that is good news. Any comment or question regarding this report from TDEC? Hearing none, we're now ready for a federal update by Melanie Murphy with the Federal Highway Administration, Tennessee office.
Mr. Chairman, she indicated no update at this time, no
Okay,
additional updates.
good report.
Good report.
All right, we're now ready for TDOT updates. We've got Herman, I think John, and then Stacy in that order. Herman, you're recognized.
Thank you so much. We're working on prioritizing the use of the excuse me, the TMA funding as part of the process. We're looking at projects that were submitted under the statewide partnership program. Of those submittals, over 100 of those that were more consistent with our current grants like MMAG and TAP were removed. Of the 66 projects reviewed, over $350 million in funding were identified by the applicants as their commitment to funding. That's pretty good, but the funding needed is over $2.7 billion, which means that's a pretty big ask. Next month, we'll be presenting the 10-year plan of the use of the TMA funding. We will share those projects that were selected with the legislative body. We didn't do a new prioritization ranking. We used the ones from last year. If you guys have any questions as far as those rankings were concerned or where they stand, just let us know and feedback or what have you. We have a representative here from TDOT Region 3, John Story, who's going to give you some updates, and Stacy on the current projects and understanding.
Okay, thank you.
Mayor, hey, good morning.
Good morning.
So I saw in the packet there were 3 projects in particular y'all were asking about. So I do have updates on those. The State Route 149, State Route 374, that is not in our current 3-year program. The way TDOT current now has shifted doing business, if a project's not in our program, we do stop development on it so we can focus on and deliver those projects that are in the program. So there is no update. We are not in current development on that project. The State Route 374 proposed, we have finished right-of-way plans on that project. However, it is not funded in the 3-year program for construction. So we have held from initiating the right-of-way activities. We don't want to get too far ahead purchasing people's property before we're ready to actually construct the road. And then the last one is I-24. That project also is not in our current 3-year program, so therefore it's not in development. Of course, we at the region are certainly aware of the needs for that project. It's been on our radar. So those are the 3 you asked for. If you have any other ones of interest, anything else I can provide updates on.
Well, I'm sure we've got questions
Yeah.
about every project. Mayor Golden or Trenton Road?
So Trenton Road, we are in active development. We did recently have to terminate our consultant on that project. And we are in negotiations with a new consultant to keep that going. The goal is to keep that on the as close to the original schedule as possible, which is right-of-way plans in 2024. So we're still aiming towards the end of 24, possibly early 25. But we are pushing through that, but we have had to make a shift just due to staffing changes with our lead consultant.
I understand. Any other questions about road projects for TDOT? Mr. Williams,
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
you want to come to the microphone?
Do we need to submit a new list anytime in the upcoming future? Does the board?
I'll defer to.
So no, we're not going through again, we're working through the partnership program and all that this year versus doing any new type of rankings. So, but if you have any comments towards, the current list of projects that you have, obviously y'all still support those. And if you support those in the same way, we'll just note that. But if
Okay.
there's anything new, obviously we'll take those comments as well.
Okay, thank you. Anything else for TDOT? Herman, any closing remarks?
Thank you for having me. It's my first time. You guys
All right.
treated me nice.
Okay, we'll feed you after too. All right, we're now ready for, let's see here, new business, it appears.
Mr. Chairman, I'll be brief. Members already touched on the numbers again through the TMA, showed a tremendous need and list of projects and not a whole lot of funding, but hopefully that will improve. I received the update at the State Freight Advisory Committee, which I've served on, and Preston Elliott, actually, Deputy Director, gave the update. And then also very briefly, because we have the R.J. Corman short line here in our area, and the consultants gave an update on the study for the short lines throughout the state of Tennessee. Had it just under $300 million of projects that they have needs for and funding for. So whether it's highways or rail, bridges, or all of the above, there's a lot of project needs. Again, our next meeting will be January the 11th at 24, and you will adopt that big 2050 MTP. And that'll be a huge accomplishment for you. That's all I got.
Sorry.
No, come on.
We making introductions?
Yeah,
Okay.
from our local programs office.
Oh, good to hear.
Step ahead.
Good morning. I am Chastity Bell. I am from the local programs office. I am the transportation manager statewide in our division. And then I will let Katie, we have a newly promoted supervisor.
Hi, I'm Katie Brown. I will be the program monitor for Region 3 and Region 1. So any questions that you guys have about your local programs projects, just let me know.
Thank you. Glad to meet you. Thank you for the work you're getting ready to do for us.
Absolutely. 3 times the previous volume.
All right. New business. Any member of the public wish to address the board or the committee? Mr. Tyndall.
Sure. Thank you, Chairman. I'll give you a quick Planning Commission update. Also piggybacking off of what Stan said about R.J. Corman, they are in talks with the Industrial Development Board about building a spur line intermodal facility. So that'll be very important, potentially getting both trucks on and off the highways here, and working with the industries that continue to come here and help R.J. Corman continue to monetize that short line up there in the industrial park. On the Planning Commission side, we are closing in on the end of our comprehensive planning process. We're going to have 3 public comment open houses coming up here first or second week in December. We're right now tentatively looking at Monday evening after the county commission meeting in Civic Hall. We're going to do all these at Civic Hall. It's probably just the easiest place to set up. Tuesday, we're going to do it 10 to 1 o'clock, and then we're going to do a Saturday as well, 10 to 1 o'clock. So we feel that kind of gives everyone an opportunity through all their schedules to make either a night, an afternoon, or a weekend there. Looking at the 11th, 12th, and 16th of December. But once we have those nailed down with times and locations exactly, we'll definitely get the information out. Just yesterday, we completed reviewing the transportation chapter. It needs quite a bit of work. I have a call with the consultant this afternoon to get on that. But what's very cool about the comprehensive plan is it takes the major transportation plan. It also takes the city's 2020 plus plan and other projects that TDOT is undergoing and puts them all in one place. So it's going to be interesting to see how they all play together. And we just show that going forward of these are the ongoing and the future plans, obviously the tier 1 projects for the city, and then try to work around and foster those as we go forward. Besides that, I think that's what we have really on the big horizon. For the county, we're working on the corridor management agreement for Guthrie Highway. Some of you may remember that from a couple of years ago. After working with TDOT and the county attorney, the best approach is to put it in resolution format, I almost said ordinance format, resolution format, and put it in this county zoning code. So that's what we're working on right now, is taking it from an advisory document and putting it into resolution format, a little more difficult than I'd like it to be. But yeah, so that'll work on from the interstate at exit 4 up to Jim Johnson Road, basically limiting the amount of future driveways from what's existing out there. You can move driveways, you can shift them left and right, but it'll take the amount of driveways that are currently in the curb cuts out there, which luckily we're dealing with a lot of large parcels, and avoid, hopefully, long-term, not creating another Wilma Rudolph on that side of the highway.
Agreed.
And allow freight transit and workers to get through that area pretty unimpeded. That concludes my report.
All right, that's a good report. Any questions for Mr. Tyndall? All right, thank you. Any other member of the public wish to address the committee or the board? Any member of the board wish to address each other? I want to say thank you to Jill Hall and to Stan Williams for keeping us running straight down the road, so to speak. Forgive the pun. All right. Any other business before us? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Without objection, we're adjourned. Thank you for being here. Pizza's on Jill.
Absolutely. Pizza, so please stay and